Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to design the palm tree so that you can use it in our oasis scene. So first I'm gonna remove these items. Then I will be enabling string cascades so you can see which keys I'm using. Now I will shift A and add a circle. Then in this menu, I will reduce the number of vertices to 12. Then I will press tab to get into edit mode, S to scale, and I will scale this down a bit, F to fill, E to extrude, then Ctrl R to add some loop cuts. Now what I want to do is that I want to change to edge select, and then I want to select these edges. So Shift Alt to select all of these edges. Shift Alt and I will be selecting these loop cuts we just made. And then I will bevel using Ctrl B about this much. And next I will be choosing the upper edge the same way I chose the other edges. So Alt Shift and I will select these edges. And then I want to scale them a bit around their individual origin. So make sure to switch to individual origin and scale it. Then I will press G on the keyboard and then Z to bring them down on the Z axis. And then I will also choose this loop here, Alt click and then S to scale. Now what I want to do is to change to face select here and then select this top face. Then I want to also switch back the pivot point to the 3D cursor. Then I will press 3 on the keyboard, enable proportional editing, either using this menu or by pressing O on the keyboard. And then I want to press G and tilt this a little bit. Then I want to confirm, and this time I want to make the fall off smaller to just affect the upper part of the trunk to add some curvature. What I want to do now is to make this look smoother. So I'm going to tab out of edit mode. I'm going to right click and shade smooth. Then I will enable auto smooth here and increase the angle up until everything is pretty smooth. So that was it for the trunk. Now what we want to do is to add some leaves to this palm tree. So I'm gonna press 7 to look from the top. I'm gonna shift and right click to move the cursor to the top. Then shift A and add a plane. Then I want to go into edit mode and scale. First, I'll be turning off proportional editing. Then I want to scale this on the Y axis. So S and then Y. Then I want to move this a bit on the X axis to the side. Now what I want to do is that I want to switch to edge select this edge here, then G and then X to increase this a little bit. Then I want to add some loop cuts. So Control R. I want to first add a horizontal one and then some vertical ones. Now what I want to do is to switch back to vertex select. I will draw a box around these three vertices, and I'm going to be merging them at the center by pressing M and add center on the menu that appears. I'm going to do the same for this side as well. So merge by pressing M and then add center. Now I will scale this a little bit. So I'm going to be selecting them and S. First, I will switch back to individual origins and S. Reduce the size a bit to make this look like a leaf. So maybe smaller here a little bit. And then I will select everything maybe and scale a little bit on the y-axis. Next, I will switch back to edge select and shift select these three edges here, and then G and Z to raise them a little bit. I'll do the same for this one, JZ. And now I want to add a loop cut also, so Control R, and I add a loop cut here. Now we need to switch back to vertex select, and what I want to do here is to have some kind of a cut. I'm going to use the rip tool, so press V on the keyboard and then move it a little bit to the side, and then select this one in by using G and a little bit to the side as well. And here also the same V, and to have some kind of opening here. I'm gonna do that also on the other side. So V and a little bit of an opening here. Next, what we want to do is to add first we want to tab out of edit mode by pressing tab on the keyboard. And then what we want to do is to add a modifier here to add some thickness to this leaf. So for doing that, we go to the wrench tool, the modifier tab, and we choose the solidify modifier here, and we increase it a little bit by maybe one step to add some thickness to our leaf. Then we want to right click and shade smooth and check all smooth to have a smooth leaf. Now that we designed the leaf, what we want to do is to have several of them. So we're going to press 7 on the numpad to look from the top, then Alt D to duplicate, and then R to rotate. So we want to have several of them. So Alt D and rotate, Alt D and rotate. So maybe about 5 is going to be enough. Then we want to again Alt T to duplicate and scale it a little bit, and then we want to rotate to fill in the gaps. We want to also scale these leaves down or up to add some variation. And then Alt D, rotate, scale them down, Alt D, rotate. What we want to also do is to bring them a little bit lower, so R, then press Y twice to rotate these around the local axis. So bringing them a little bit lower. And for the smaller one, we want to bring them higher. and we do this to have a fuller scene. I'm gonna also duplicate these smaller ones again, so Alt D or Y, but this time I will bring them lower. Alt D R Y Y. Alt D to link duplicate, and R twice, R and then Y twice to have a fuller point tree. So at this point, another thing that's interesting to do is to be able to parent or connect the leaves to the trunk. Now, if you move the trunk, you see that the palm leaves are not following, but now in order to connect them, we're going to do something that's called parenting. So I'm going to press 3 to look sideways, and then I'm going to be selecting these the leaves, and then shift select the trunk and make sure it's selected, and it should be the last item selected. Then Control P, and then we select object, and now the object is parented. The leaves are parented to the trunk, and if we move the trunk, they're going to follow. If we scale the trunk down, they are also going to follow the scaling. So here, what I would like to add is also that there are many variations. Obviously, you can make the trunk taller or shorter. You can make the trunk also bigger. Same goes for the leaves. It's a matter of personal taste. So many variations are possible of this design. So you can find the link to the full course in my description. The difference between the YouTube series and the full course is that in the full course, I go much more in depth or in details regarding the steps involved in the design process. So if you're interested, you can go check it out in my description, in the video description. Again, hope you enjoyed this video and learned something useful here. The next lesson the next video is going to be about how to make the rocks to add to our oasis scene. So hope to see you in the next one.